How may I help you?
Okay. So I was told that you could, I was told that you could...
You heard that I can communicate with the other side, is that right?
Yeah.
I make no guarantees.
Could you try?
Certainly. I have been known to communicate with others from other realms here and there, if you will. In fact, one time in the old country, I lost my mother to a... Oh. A familiar pain?
Yeah. Mom died just a few months ago.
My deepest condolences.
Since the funeral, I haven't been alone. It's kind of like there's a presence.
The emptiness left by loss is heavy.
No, it's not that. It's like a pressure. I can't sleep. My therapist thinks that I am narcoleptic because I keep dozing during sessions. She told me to sleep on my side to avoid sleep paralysis.
But you don't think it's sleep paralysis or narcolepsy? Is that it?
I'm not sick. It's not like a physical thing.
Perhaps you need a priest then. Or maybe one of those Appalachian grannies. I can recommend a few if you like. Now, where are you?
I think it followed me here.
Tell us a story.
What?
Your mother. Tell us a story about your mother.
Okay. Mom was a dancer. She was a ballerina, actually.
Oh, those are facts, my dear. Trivia. Tell us a story. Marshal all the details you can muster.
Okay. We went to Scotland once.
Ooh, a beautiful country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was actually one of those trips where everything that could go wrong does. Our flight was delayed, and then the airline lost our luggage, and then the truck that took us to town had not one but two flat tires. The whole reason was we were going to see my granddad's birthplace. But I mean, once we got there, we both agreed that the rest didn't matter, and we were just gonna have the time of our lives.
Good for you two. Perseverance, optimism, crucial traits on any trip.
Yeah, it was great. Meeting all the aunts and the uncles and the countless cousins. And they would show us around the countryside in the day, and then at night we would go find a pub and get into all sorts of trouble. Anyway, the last night, my mom stayed in because our flight the next morning was really early. So me and my cousin Aaron went to a pub, and it was great, but then his pregnant wife called and she asked for some god-awful food combination, so he had to leave. But I stayed and I had another drink.
You have my undivided attention, my dear, I assure you.
Right. Anyways, it was such a clear night that I just decided to walk back. We weren't staying that far from the pub. It was one of those nights when everything was visible, the stars, the moon, all of it. But that's when suddenly all of the stars and the moon just vanished, and then something appeared ahead of me. A horse.
Many a horse in Scotland.
No, not like this one. It was soaking wet to the point that I could hear the water dripping off of it, which that didn't make any sense because it hadn't rained and there was no water nearby. And then it sort of tilted its head down like it wanted me to pet him. And that's when I noticed that it was covered in seaweed, and I wasn't going to touch it, so I tried to move one way and it followed me, and I tried to move the other way and it followed me. It was like it was mirroring my movements. And then out of nowhere, everything lit up like it was daytime, and all of the stars and the moon came back. And do you need some help?
How kind, thank you. Please continue your story.
Well, I knew that I wasn't about to touch that thing, so I backed away and it stepped towards me. I thought about running back to town, but you cannot run a horse.
So, what did you... Aha! So what did you do?
Well, I tried to move around it, but it mirrored my every step. And then suddenly the road lit up like daytime, and the horse looked at the light, and then it looked back at me, and it made kind of a disappointed sound. And at that point, it had galloped off into the trees.
Lucky bird.
Yeah. It was then that I realized that the light was actually headlights, and it was my mom in the car, and she was quite livid. She was just, "Where have you been?" And I was like, "Well, you're not going to believe what I just saw," but she wasn't too terribly interested in that because. What the hell?
Forgive the dousing. You most certainly had a visitor. Attached itself to you like a tin. Little ones like that used to formerly be fairies. They feed on torment. Fortunately for you, when their host speaks, they can only listen. Easily distracted.
How did it find me?
They feed on grief. Was your mother buried near a forest?
Yeah.
Little ones lurk near forests. Curious thing, though, I've never seen one in this part of the world. I'm terribly interested in the rest of your story. Would you mind?
What?
Your story.
Oh.
Scotland, your mother, the horse.
Right. It turns out I had actually been gone for hours, and when she woke up for our flight home, she saw that I wasn't there. So.
Did anyone believe you about the Kelpie?
How did you know what it was?
Oh, I too once saw a Kelpie. Long ago.
Did anybody believe you?
I did. You?
My mom. And this guy that I went to school with who wanted the story for a book he was writing.
That'll be 150:37.